Good morning, guys. I'm Nicolas Van Levi Buenviaje, a Bachelor of Arts in Multimedia Studies student from the University of the Philippines Open University. At ang pag-uusapan po natin ngayon is about physical wellness and physical training. Together with my partner, we hope everyone will at least get a profound idea of what physical training is, anong benefits na makukuha dito, at paano ito ma-apply sa ating daily life. So first, what is physical wellness? Ito ay pagkakaroon ng tamang body mass index or BMI na naaayon sa edad at kasarian. Ito din ay kasama din dito ang pamumuhay ng malusog at malayo sa sakit. Ang isang tao na aware sa kanyang physical health may be referred as a healthy living person. Ito ay kanyang nakukuha through physical training, which is not limited to just exercising daily. Kasama din dito ang proper diet, right amount of sleep, at pag-iwas o paglimita sa mga bisyo tulad ng paninigarilyo, pag-inom ng alak at pagdodroga. Sa pag-exercise, may tinatawag tayong progressive overload. It is normal for us to hear this term whenever we train in bodybuilding gyms. Yung mga weightlifters, normal din tong term sa kanila na ito. Ito ay tungkol sa unti-unting pagdadagdag ng bigat o timbang o number ng repetitions in our physical fitness routine in a limited period of time. For example, for the first week of training, we use 5 kilograms of weight for our dumbbells. For the second week, we'd use 7 kilos, then gradually increase it to until we'd use 10 kilos, ganun. This is done so that our muscles would slowly adapt to heavier routines, becoming stronger and gaining more muscle mass. Dito pumapasok yung paniniwala that the stronger the strength of the muscle is, the more muscle mass it gains. So, what is a successful fitness program? Isang successful fitness program ay nagpa-follow ng 4 na components. Ito ay frequency, intensity, time, and type. Ang frequency, ito ay tumutukoy dun sa kung gaano siya kadalas ginagawa within a short period of time. Halimbawa, sa 1 month, nakaka-total of 1 week total of exercise ka. Ito yung intensity naman ay kung gaano katindi yung ginagawa mong exercise. For example, you do 5 repetitions of push-ups and upper body exercises combined with lower body exercises that will improve your body stamina. Yung time naman, ito yung total amount of time na you'd use with to improve your body. Ito yung number of repetitions during your training session. For example, 1 hour total of laps or 1 hour total of jog within a month, or 1 hour specific for push-ups within a month, ganun. Ang type naman is the method of training being used for specific purpose for the training individual. Halimbawa, kung isa kang boxer, ang focus mo ay for the upper body and your flexibility of arms. For runners, the cardiorespiratory endurance of your and your strength of the lower body. Ganun. Speaking of cardiorespiratory endurance, we also have speed and flexibility, muscular strength and muscular endurance. For the training individual, we should focus on at least one of these. Pero mas maganda if combined para balance. Para yung body composition mo ay hindi awkward. For example, hindi masyado maliit yung body mass mo, or yung muscle mass ng legs mo ay balance sa muscle mass ng arms mo. Hindi ka nakapag-overtraining at hindi ka lapitin ng over-fatigue. It will mostly depend on the objective of the person if you want to focus on muscular strength, muscular endurance, cardiorespiratory endurance, speed, or flexibility. If the subject is a marathoner, he will focus on the muscular strength, endurance, and flexibility of his lower body, in addition to the resistance of his lungs and heart. Pero kung ikaw naman ay boxer, mas maganda kung i-focus mo yung hand and eye coordination mo, the speed and flexibility of your arms, and also kung focus mo dun mostly is yung upper body mo. So how could we easily apply our readings from PE1, Foundation of Fitness? Sedentary or minimal exercise gains little advantages and more risk than gains. Dito pumapasok yung obesity, yung heart risk, yung high cholesterol. We are in danger of diseases brought by inactive lifestyles such as yung computer gaming, social media focus ka sa social media, ganun. Uh, Following the guidelines provided in our readings, we could keep a healthy body with less stress and more enjoyment. Hindi
Hi, I'm Alexander, Nico's partner, and I'm here to talk about the other things about training and physical fitness and wellness and all that stuff. So, yeah, so earlier you've heard them talk about progressive overload and frequency, intensity, time, and type of training method. So I'll be focusing on the other stuff. Okay? So the other things about training are two things that you need to balance. So what is reversibility and overtraining? So reversibility is the tendency of our bodies to regress or go back to the state or condition before we started training. And this usually happens if we suddenly stop training or when we suddenly reduce the intensity or the amount of training that we do. So we don't want that, of course, because that's counterproductive. And second is overtraining. So overtraining is the lack of enough rest periods in between your training sessions. So you have to have enough rest because that's where the body adaptations will take place while you rest in between your training methods. So you have to have enough rest, and if you don't, it would increase the risk of injury. So the key here, it has to depend on your individual needs, and whenever you start a training regimen, you have to find and strike the right balance between reversibility and overtraining. So yeah, that's that. And then another part, another part of the reading is that in the BBC article, it mentioned gender as a factor in considering the training method and also maybe the training intensity and all that stuff. But the thing is, maybe it shouldn't be the word gender, but maybe the word sex, the biological sex, right? So, because I think gender is now a social construct these days, right? So, the word should be sex. So, why is sex a factor when evaluating individual needs for training? So, basically, it's because there are several physiological differences between biological men and biological women that need to be considered when planning a training cycle. So these can include skeletal muscle physiology, muscle perfusion, voluntary activation, and even the size of the airways for breathing. So a study, actually, let me see. So a study by Medline Plus, which is a website, a government website about medical and health articles. So actually has some findings that the airways of biological women are a bit smaller than those of men. So that you can take into account, of course, the intensity of the training, because airflow, the amount of air that biological women can take in, is less than what biological men can. And then another study also has some findings about women being more capable of enduring long periods of training than men can. So it seems that women have more physical stamina for some things, while for most things, than men do. So those are the differences. So there's no doubt that there are still differences between biological men and women. So if you're talking about training and deciding what to do, you have to consider it. So that's that. And then another thing I'd like to talk about is training thresholds and calculating the training threshold from the working heart rate of an individual. So specificity is very important in training. So you have to find out first your goal, your training goal. So are you an athlete for a particular sport? So if it's swimming, or it's maybe basketball, so you'll have very different training methods and training cycles or training regimens for when you're training for basketball or training for swimming, or maybe just losing weight or gaining it by gaining some muscle mass. So that's that. So, and aside from that, aside from the specific activity, you also have to account for the specific person. And usually this is determined by age when we calculate training threshold. So a training threshold is actually the degree of intensity that your heart can handle based on your age. So this is calculated through by deducting your age from a heart rate of 220, and there's a table there in the BBC article where you can refer to the different training thresholds for different types of exercises, like aerobic and anaerobic exercises, right? So that's what you need to focus on as well. And another thing is, how are we going to apply these readings? So for me personally, it's all about stamina. I really need to enhance my physical and even mental stamina because I play a lot of chess, and that sport takes some time, and you have to be able to be both mentally active and have to learn how to breathe properly because it can be very physically draining, even if you're just using your brain. Yes. So that's my specificity. So maybe I'll have some training to increase my mental and physical stamina. So yeah, so that's basically all I wanted to talk about. And oh, and one more thing. Um, according to the Huffington Post, it's not advisable to eat any fatty foods before working out or going to training, because the key is to have energy or fuel for that training or workout session. So it's best to eat carbohydrates, protein, and fluids around 3 hours before training, so that by the time you start training, that food is digested and ready to be used as fuel. So the thing about fatty foods is that it slows down digestion, so by the time you start training, the food you ate hasn't been digested yet. So you won't have enough energy or fuel for your training session, and it will be highly inefficient. And yeah, that's that. Thank you for listening, and stay awesome.